This conference will now be recorded.
Any questions, guys?
Shanmugh, for the assignment, while trying to create a auto scaling, it is auto scaling is created, but while going to the the target of the particular default which we are selecting, right, it is showing that the instance L6 request timeout error. Okay, so I'm not able to you know achieve my that auto scaling part.
Can you recheck once again the video, the step by step, and redo it? If not, we'll sit on by tomorrow after the class.
Fine. First time I forgot enabling that CloudWatch, so I due to that was failing throwing error while creating auto scaling itself.
Yeah.
After that, after I go through step by step, then I found out that this was the issue. So after enabling that, while creating auto scaling, I'm not getting any error. I'm getting auto scaling is created properly. Only they creating checking the target that target group L6, right? I know the rate of the instance L6 response time to.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, so go to the video once again, step by step. Okay, and do it once, starting from the scratch. Change the region and starting from the scratch. If not, we'll sit by tomorrow after the class and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Any other questions, guys, apart from that? So that is one thing. So now coming to the second, coming to the continuation of your respective RDS. So you guys are need to sync up in with this respective. You need to enable the RDS to your app mission. RDS to your app mission here. So which will firstly to enable the respective connectivity to the app mission, you guys need to familiar with the two things actually. The first thing is with you need to create the resources, right? You guys need to create the resources. So this is your master and slave. This is writer and this is the reader, right? This is the writer cluster and this is the reader cluster. And so for the specific thing for the databases, for the specific thing to the developer perspective, you need to give this configuration details. For write operations, you need to use this endpoint. Right, for his write operations, you need to use this endpoint here. So for write operations, he need to use this endpoint writer operation, the writer instances. For the read operations, you need to use RO actually, right? So RO actually. So this is the things that he need to, right? This is the things that you guys need to understand actually. The first thing is, right? First thing is for the write operations, this is the endpoint you need to give to your developer. For the read operations, you need to use this endpoint to perform the read operation. These are the two things that you guys need to understand. So now here to connect your respective database from your EC2 instances, right? To connect your respective database from your EC2 instances. So here, here you have an EC2 instances, and here you have an RDS. Here to connect from EC2 instances to RDS here, right? To connect EC2 instances to the RDS. So firstly, you guys need to open the security group. So what is the port number for Postgres? What is the port number for Postgres? Which is the which port you need to open to connect your respective Postgres here? 5432, right? So firstly, you guys need to open this port on your respective right, on your respective Postgres server. If it is in MySQL, what is the port number you guys need to use? 3306, right? 3306. So first you guys need to open this port over the security level, security group level. And second thing you guys need to do it, right? And second thing you guys need to do it. So with regards to the right, second thing you need to use username and the password. Right. Second thing you need to use the username and the password. Right. Username and the password here. Right. You need to use the username and the password. Second thing for the respective RDS. Right. Username and the password for your respective RDS here. That is the second thing that you guys need to understand. So now, so let me open a respective right security group, whether the security group got open or not successfully. So this is your security group, the one which you are using here. This is your respective security group here. Right, this is your security group. So RDS security group. So here you need to allow the pool of IP address. And here you need to allow the pool of IP address here. So generally, you guys need to allow the within the right within the app subnet, right, within the app subnet here. So for example, here you have an or the within the VPC or within the VPC. Now here go for the VPC, get the CIDR here. Go for the VPC and get the CIDR here. So this is your CIDR here. Allow this range of IP address for 5432 or 3306 based upon the database engine that you guys have selected. And make a give the description as within the VPC. Right, give a description as within the VPC. Right, give a description as within the VPC. Give the description as within the VPC here. So now here you need to create a bastion host, the one which you guys are going to be right connected to the respective RDS. Right, you guys need to use a bastion host here. So let me create a bastion host here. Launch the instances. Right, this is your respective T2 micro. Right, this is your respective T2 micro, and here select the any of the subnet. So enable the public IP address. Right, enable the public IP address here. So here you need to use the bastion host here to connect your respective DB. Connect your respective DB. Next, security groups. Review and launch the instances. So now here, let me create a new key to avoid the confusion. So meanwhile, the creating of the instances, before creating of instances, you guys are going to be use, right, a convert.pm to .ppk because the putty recognized it, right, the putty recognized with .ppk only. So now here, as soon as you guys have converted .pem to .ppk, let's connect to the respective instances. Right. So you need to enable the respective MySQL parameters. Right. You need to enable the respective MySQL parameters here. So MySQL client you need to install. So for that, you need to install the two commands actually. So this is the repository download. This is the repository download. And installing the MySQL client. Then installing the MySQL client. Right, installing the MySQL client. These are the two things. So these two commands I'm going to be provide you for the respective MySQL installation here. So now here you guys need to follow the few things actually. So you need to connect your respective database, and then you need to connect your create a database, create a table, right? Take the database backup and restore the database back. So these are the few tasks you guys are going to be performed here. So what you guys need to do? So create a database, right? Create a database. Take a snapshot for the database. Right? And restore the snapshot. Right? And restore the snapshot. Right? Restore the snapshot here. These are the two things that you guys need to perform. Right? Create a database, take the snapshot of the database, and take the backup and restore the snapshot. So these are the general day-to-day activities that you guys need to be perform on your right real-time environment. Am I clear as of now, guys? Any questions, any doubts? Am I clear as of now? Yeah. So now here, let's connect to the database. Right. Let's connect to the database and enable the right. Let's connect to the database and enable the respective creation of the database here. So you need to connect with this respective writer here, not to the reader. You need to connect to the respective writer, not to the reader. So go for the database here. So this is your vision. So here you will going to be have the connectivity endpoints. So connect to your respective writer. So now here, firstly, you need to check whether the communication is going to be happening from this app server to the database server or not. firstly, the communication is going to happening from the app server to the database server or not. So what is the command to check the communication, whether how to check whether the communication is happening from the app server to the database server? No, curve will going to be check the HTTP protocols actually. HTTP stream.
Connection stream.
No. What is the command to check the connectivity between the app server to database server? I ask you guys to go through this respective documents actually. The commands. What is the command, guys? Telnet. Telnet is a command to check. So telnet. So firstly, you need to install the binary. Install telnet. Right. Install telnet. So now here the respective database endpoint. So 3306. So firstly, you need to check whether the connectivity is happening from your app server to database server or not. So it will showcase you the output as connected. That means you've been connecting to your respective, right? That means you've been connecting to the respective database here. So later, you guys need to use the MySQL, the command MySQL -h, that respective host here, right? -u, so root and -p is the password. This is the command to connect your respective MySQL database. MySQL -h, H stands for host, and you have provided the endpoint, and -u stands for user. And what is the username you guys are using? Root actually, and -p, which is nothing but password. Right, -p, which is nothing but password here. MySQL command not found. Not executed these two commands, sir. Okay. There is an issue with the GPG key, so one minute, guys. So use this command actually. Ignore the respective GPG chip key. Generally, what GPG will going to do is it will going to check the whether your binaries are certified or not. Right. So now, as of now, this key is not valid. That's why I'm ignoring those respective checks. Right. So use this command to ignore the GPG. So now try to connect to this MySQL here. So what is the password which I have given? So linux.123, enter this password. I'm using admin here. Yeah. So username is admin and password is the one which I have provided. To check the database, so any database administrator are there here. How to check the database here? The commands are very important, guys. To check the databases, show databases here. Show databases, right? Semicolon. Show databases here. Now here you need to use one more thing called create database. Right? You need to use one more thing called create database. To create database, you need to use the command as. Right? To create the database, you need to use the command as. Right? To create a database, you need to use the command called create database and the database name. Right? And the database name. Create database and database name. Create database and the database name is. I would like to name this one called customers. Right? I would like to name this one as a customers. So I'm using this respective customer database here, properly linked by a semicolon. To verify it, again I'm going to use a command called show database. Right? To verify it, again I'm going to use the command called show databases here. Right? Show databases here. So now here you need to introducing the tables actually inside the database. Right? Inside the database you've been using the tables here. For that you need to use the command name called. For that you need to use the command name called. Use database here. Use the database here. Switch into the customer database, right? Switch into the customer database. And then you need to create a table inside the customer database. Right? Inside the database. You guys need to use the here. Right? So now here I would like to create this respective database table here. Person ID, last name, first name, and the address and the city. Right? Address and the city here. Address and the city here. So here, this is going to be their integer. Person ID should be an integers over the numbers actually. This is var character here. What does it do here? Variable length string actually. You need to enter the string here. Right? It will going to take only the string. So that is the meaning of this actually. So now here to showcase the tables, right? Now here to showcase the tables here. Excuse me. You guys need to understand about the switching to the database. Right, switching to the database. Create a table. Create a table. Right, create a table, and then use so to show the database to get the data table info. To get the table info, use the command as show tables. Right, use the command as show tables. To describe the tables, use the command called describe table here. Use to describe table, use command here describe and the respective table name. Right, and respective table name. right? And the respect to table name here. This is one main important thing, right? Show tables here, right? Describe persons here. So describe the table as persons, show tables. So okay, actually Linux is a case sensitive, guys. Linux is a case sensitive, right? You need to use the describe persons. P is an uppercase letter. So this is the one. So this is what I'm trying to say. The data is going to be stored in the form of rows and columns, right? The data is going to store in the form of rows and columns here. This is one thing, right? This is one thing that you guys need to understand. Am I clear on this? How to create a database, how to create a tables, right? How to describe the tables. Am I clear on this? Right? Any questions, any doubts here? So now here, basically this approach, right? These things, these commands are going to be given by the respective, right? These commands are going to be given by your respective, right? Database administrator. So this is called schema actually, right? This is called schema actually, schema for your database. So you have discussed about the schema, what does it do and how it's going to be performed, right? So now here, you need to understand about these things actually. The schema wise, the developer is going to provide. Right now here, the data which is going to store in the database, you need to take the backup of this respective table and you need to restore it, right? And you need to restore it. So these kind of specific tasks they're going to allocate. So what does it do? They do here, create a on-demand starter, right? Create a on-demand snapshot for the database, for the database name equal to customer here, for database name equal to customer, and restore it, and restore the snapshot, right? And restore the snapshot here, and restore the snapshot here. So now here, go for the respective, right? Go for the respective instances, right? Go for the actions. Now here, take the snapshots. So generally, the snapshots will going to be take, right? Generally, the snapshot is going to be take based upon the time taken to create a snapshot is going to be taken based upon the respective, right? Based upon the respective, right? Size of the database, based upon the respective size of the database. Here you need to understand here prod hyphen customer hyphen db. So this is the manual backup you have taken here. So it will take the time taken of the snapshot will going to be taken based upon the database size, right? Based upon the database size. So while taking the backup of your respective database, right? Yeah, it will create a DB dump actually. Ideally, it will create a DB dump. So now here, what you guys need to understand here, the database snapshot will going to be take the time based upon the size of your respective database, how much storage environment here. So now here, to take this respective snapshot, this is called on-demand snapshot actually. This is called on-demand snapshot. So this is backupping up. So you need to wait for it till it got taken the backup. So any questions you'd like to ask me guys here?
So is there any particular size we can take this now? Because if we take the database, it will be huge amount of space, right? So we want to take the
You need to
backup
use
for
the
that.
MySQL dump commands actually to get only the specific database. Suppose I have a customer database, I have an respective premium customer database, or I have an other like enterprise customer database. I have an three databases. If you want only the specific database, you need to use the MySQL dump commands actually to get only the specific format, specific database backup.
So now the backup which we are taking is not a full backup, right?
It's complete entire backup actually. You're taking entire backup here. The
But now
snapshot
in
is
the
not taken.
server, now we can see this particular database, only one database we created. If you future it might be 2 to 3 databases you can be able to create, right, on a particular master
Yeah, listen carefully,
server.
Jiva. So what I'm trying to say, listen carefully. What I'm trying to say, if you are taking the snapshot, it will try to capture the complete database. If you want a specific database, you need to use the MySQL dump.
Correct, understand. So understand. So my question is, if now we are taking full database, future maybe we can able to install 2 to 3 databases on the same machine, right? Like how the Oracle database will install.
No,
So
database engine should be only the specific database engine you can create. Only once at a time, actually. You cannot use the multiple database engines on one database.
okay, so
Either you need to
okay, why?
use only
Because in
one database engine.
oh, okay, then fine. Because in Oracle, we can able to install 2 to 3 database on the particular on-prem, so one VM or one virtual machine, one on-prem service, right? One
Yeah,
physical server. So
on-prem you can install. In one machine itself, you can install the multiple database. For example, you can install Oracle database engine. You can install MySQL database engine. You can install MariaDB database engine on one specific dedicated server. But here, only the database, only for one database, you can only allocated only one database engine. You cannot use the multiple database engines.
mhm.
That is not possible in this database.
Okay.
So if you want to go with the next one,
So then
for the database engine, you need to create one more database.
got it, got it. Then fine.
So it's taking the backup here. So now it is the backup. The snapshot is available because my database snapshot is the size is very less. So to create a database, listen carefully here. So you need to have after taking the snapshots, you need to restore the snapshot here. Go for the restore button. Actually, try to create a new database. You're not going to get the old database. Again, you need to change the respective endpoints. Right? Again, you need to change the respective endpoints here. Production backup for the customer database. So IFR is not going to be applicable for you. So connectivity over the default VPC and default VPC public node. So RDS. So restore the DB here. So ideally, it will create the new database engine here. Again, for your respective, if you are restoring this one, right? If you are restoring this one, actually, again, you need to use, if you are restoring your specific database, right? Again, you guys need to use actually this respective endpoints. You need to change the endpoints on your application configuration file, on your respective application configuration file here. So this is the new endpoints. You need to provide this new endpoints to your respective developer if you are restoring the respective databases from the snapshot. Am I clear on this? This is where people used to do the mistake actually. You guys need to create the database and you need to change the respective endpoints.
So in this case, we'll be having two right at the same time.
Yeah, once the new one is going to be down, sorry, once the new one is going to be up, you need to make down to the old one.
Okay.
And these endpoints are going to be changed. So ideally, these endpoints are going to be managed to the respective, right? These endpoints are going to be managed to the respective internal by using the Route 53 mechanism, which is called DNS mechanism. So that is how it's going to happen here. That I will discuss in the coming Route 53 DNS mechanism, how the DNS works. Those things I'm going to discuss in the DNS. So let's wait for it. So meanwhile, so we'll continue about the respective. You have an automated backups actually for this one, right? You have an automated backups. So you have an backup services called, right? You have an backup services called AWS backup service. You have actually, right? You have an AWS
Hey
backup
Shanmugh,
services.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Before proceeding, I'd like to know. I mean, we are making now a. I mean, we are bringing up the old backup.
Hmm.
Let's say, for an example, there is something happened in our prod, and somehow we need to restore the backup. Then, do we need to bring up this another instance, and from there we need to pull something in our prod, or how?
Yes. So basically, so if suppose something is happened to your database at 8:30, right? Let's consider 8:30 a.m. something is got happened, something data got corrupted. So as I said earlier, you need to take the backup of every 1 hour. You need to restore the backup of the best known backup snapshot, and you need to follow this procedure only to take the snapshot and restore the respect to your database from the taken last best known configuration. After creating of the new database, you need to change the respective database endpoints in your application config. So that application config server is going to be mapped to the newly created database, which is the best known backup recently taken from the snapshot.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Yeah. So that is one main important thing that you guys need to understand here, right? So now you have taken the on-demand backup. So what do you mean by on-demand backup? As soon as you guys are get the notification from your respective manager, you have taken the on-demand backup and you have restored that respective backup. What if I want to take the backup for every 30 minutes, or what if I want to take the backup for every 1 hour? So for that reason, you need to go with the automated backups here, right? Through Lambda functions, or else you need to take the respective backup from the respective AWS backup services. Here you have an AWS backup services. So you need to create a backup here. So create a backup plan. So start with a template. So here you need to take the daily retention of 35 days of retention, or monthly retention, or weekly retention, or you have a 7 year of retention. So go with the daily 35. Backup plan is prod-database plan. Right. Go with the advanced settings here. So here I have taken the backup plan here. For every 35 days, it will have a retention period. Assign the resources. So you need to assign the resources here with regards to the RDS, right? RDS here. Here you need to choose the all databases you are taking the backup. and resource type. If you want to exclude the specific resources, for example, if you want to exclude the specific resources, you can excuse by using the tags. So now, as of now, I have given the all database it will going to take. If you want to exclude the specific resources, you can mention the tags here. Right? You need to exclude the specific resources here. So RDS backup. So now here you need to use this kind of backup strategies to take the daily backups actually, or hourly backups you can take. Right, hourly backup you can take here, and you need to create a jobs here. Right, what is the last good known about your jobs here? Right, create a backup and restore this respective backup, whether the snapshot has been taken or not properly. Right, what does it do? So all these scenarios you guys are going to be mentioned here in this respective backup here. Right, so this is what you guys need to automate your respective backup strategies, right, by using the right by using the backup plans. Every 30 minutes it's going to take, or every 40 minutes it's going to take, every 1 hour. Or else if you don't want to use any kind of predefined services from the AWS, right, predefined services from the AWS here. So what you guys need to do, you need to write a Python programming actually. You need to write a Python function where it's going to take the backup for every 30 minutes. Right? Where it's going to take the backup for every 30 minutes. And you need to use the CloudWatch events. So this is one approach to take the repeated backup by using the AWS backup strategy. Right? And the second approach here is you guys need to use the respective, right? Here you guys need to use the respective RDS, taking the backup for every 30 minutes and restoring the specific backup here. So those are the two things that you guys need to having the procedure. One is with writing of Lambda functions to take the backup, or second thing is with you are using the AWS backup services, right, to take your respective backups for your RDS, automated backups. By default, while creation of RDS backup, you have an option to take the snapshot for every 1 day, for every 1 day here. So now this is available. So this is your connectivity endpoints. So this is connectivity endpoints here. So first of all, verify it. Right, first of all, verify it here, whether you guys are able to connect or not using the telnet command. Right, using the telnet command here. So m install telnet-y. So the binary is already installed, and telnet 3306. It got connected successfully. And then what is the command, guys, to get into the respective one? What is the command to get into the respective MySQL database?
There will be command MySQL.
Yeah, MySQL -h. H stands for host, and -u root admin, username root, and -p is for the password, and linux.123. So now here show databases here. So the customer DB is available here. So how to switch into the respective DB? Use customer here, right? Change into the database and show tables, right? And describe persons, right? Describe persons here. So this is how you guys need to, right? This is how you guys need to take the backup and restore the backup for your respective updates. Let's say suppose if I want to, so this is clear how to take the backup, how to restore the backup. Am I clear on this? What is the way to perform here? Is the backup is taken only for the data? No, it will take the complete snapshot. In the sense, it will take complete promote actually. Whatever the information is available in the database, it will take completely. Snapshot itself is it will take completely. Not only for the specific time period of the data. For every 30 minutes means it's not an incremental backup. If you're asking me the question of whether it's taking the incremental backup, no, it is not taking the incremental backup. It is starting from scratch actually. You're not taking the incremental backup.
But actually, you said per day it takes only one snapshot, right?
Yeah, the day will take only one snapshot, but if you want to make it for every 1 hour, you have two options. The first one is AWS backup, and the second one is you need to write a lambda function over the file by using the Python to take the backup for every 30 minutes or every 1 hour.
That backup will be total volume.
Yeah, total volume only. It is not incremental. You are not taking the incremental. The question you are right is valid question actually. Suppose you have taken the backup of 8 o'clock. I want to take the backup of 9 o'clock. I want only the data which is there from 8 to 9, only the specific point of time period, whatever the data is going to be stored in the database, that data should be applied to your respective incremental database snapshot. It is not taking that actually. It is taking complete one here in my case. Incremental backups are not comes into the picture when you are into relational database. When you are managing the on-premises, people will take the incremental backup only. Yes, people will take the incremental backup. Whatever the time, for every 1 hour, whatever the data which is going to be there, yeah, they will take only the 1 hour. But here, in this case, you guys are taking the complete snapshot backup. All the data, right?
It will occupy more space actually.
Yeah, more space. That's why you need to enable the retention period. You are right.
Okay.
You need to remove the older snapshots. I want only 3 snapshots, or I want only 4 snapshots, or I want only 1 day snapshots. You need to use the retention period action, right? You need to use the retention period action.
Now the picture is clear.
Yeah. So that is the reason I use the concept called retention period. Because yeah, answer is true. If I'm taking the 24 hours, 20 every hour, I want to take the backup. In a day, you have 24 hours, 24 snapshots. What is my space? It's going to be cost very huge actually for my snapshots itself. Due to that reason, you need to enable the policy called life cycle. What life cycle will do? It will go to enable the retention period policy. That's how it works. Yeah. To be honest, yeah, I have not discussed an AWS backup on on the elaborated manner. You have a separate section on AWS backup where I will discuss how to enable the retention period, how to take the snapshot for each and every databases, how to enable the jobs that I will discuss in the AWS backup services. As of now, to make you guys understand what is the backup scenarios you have, one is with the on-demand backup, and second one is the AWS backup services, and third one you have an option called Lambda by using our own functions, right? Am I clear on this? How to take the backup, how to restore the snapshots, how to connect to the new snapshots here. Any questions, any doubts here? Avinash, Jiva, Sweta, what about others, guys?
So any automated restore mechanism also available for AWS RDS?
Automated restores actually it will it will create huge mesh actually when you are into an auto restore, right? Taking the snapshot and enabling the respective restoration, it will create huge mesh actually in the real time. Because let's consider the scenario, you have taken the backup and one backup got failed, you got a message by using the SNS notification. So something issue with DB got corrupted. By using that input, you're going to be restoring the the last best known configuration of your respective snapshots. Your developer says, I can fix it. Whatever the corrupted data, I can fix it. I can run some query. I will delete the duplicate data, right? I can troubleshoot myself. So you don't want to restore the last best known configuration because I'm losing the 30 minutes of data. Generally, this fight will going to be happen between you and your database administrator when you are into the automatically restore. If you enable that option, you got my point, right? I know how to rectify the issue. Why you have restored without my without my approach. So like the database administrator will going to be start the debate actually. To avoid those kind of circumstances, automatic restore is not the better option. Let the database administrator work. If not, he is unable to troubleshoot the problem, then restore the backup. Right? So that's how the best practice. So now here, this all about your respective database RDS actually. So one thing, guys, as soon as you have completed your backups, your what I say, your assignments. So just go ahead and delete it. Complete delete it here. So this is going to be cost very huge actually. Right? This is going to cost very huge. So go ahead and delete it. So if you are into modify the respective, right? If you are modify the respective any kind of modifications over the database. Let's say suppose I have enabled the delete the accidental protection termination. I have enabled this one here. So this is where the retention period here you have. So termination protection here. Okay. I think this is not happening with the back. I have not selected that option probably. So what I was supposed to say here is, if suppose you want to change any kind of, let's say suppose I want to disable the slow query logs. Continue. So here it has been giving the summary of the modifications. Disable to publish the CloudWatch, slow query logs. So you have a next maintenance window or apply it immediately. If you are applying the immediately only, it will going to be modify the changes that one which you have did. Right? You got my any changes. If you apply immediately, then only the changes are going to be applicable. It will going to be ask you whether I want to apply my changes on the next coming maintenance window, or else I want to apply it immediately, right? Or else I want to apply it immediately. These are the two options it will going to be asked actually. So as soon as you have applied immediately, right? As soon as you have applied immediately, it will update the respective configuration. Still in the modifying state. It's trying to disable the slow query logs. Trying to disable in the slow query logs. It's still in the modified state. So this is how it's going to be happen. Right. So now here you have so for every database you have an configuration properties. For every services you have an configuration properties, right? Similarly, for database service also you have an configuration properties. So in your respective on-premises you have an my.cnf actually, where you can mention your respective configuration properties of the database, right? Where you guys are mentioning the respective configuration properties of the database here. To make it right, to make it simple here, or to make it in your respective RDS as well, these configuration properties are going to be stored in the parameter store actually. Parameter groups. You have a default parameter groups for Aurora here. So any kind of configuration properties, if you want to edit the parameters here, for example, I want to increase the cache size, right? I want to increase the cache size here. or I want to increase the connection time mode, right? Or I want to use the MySAM. So this is your developer will going to ask to enable the configuration properties on your respective database, right? These configuration properties are going to be stored under the parameter groups, right? These configuration properties are going to be stored in the parameter group here, basically in your databases. So in your in your on premises, you have a configuration properties which is going to be stored under /etc my.cnf. In the respective RDS, you have a parameter store where you can change the needed properties here, right? Where you can change the needed properties here, right? Cannot modify the default parameters here. So if suppose any parameters you want to edit based upon your database administrator suggestion requirement, go for the parameter store, parameter group, and update the properties here, right? Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts here? So this is one thing that you guys need to understand here, right? So now here you need to understand here. So now here, these are the respective database activities. One is you need to take the on-demand snapshot, restore it, create a new backup, change the parameters group, right? Taking the backup, upgrading of your respective system. All these things you guys need to perform as an AWS administrator. As soon as your respective, right? As soon as your respective the task got completed, just use the delete me here. So it will delete, it will start deleting the respective, right? It will start deleting the respective, right? It will start deleting the respective database. So there is a concept called failover actually, adding the readers. So for example, you have an only the writer instances. Your developer asks you to create a reader instances as well. Your developer asks you to create a reader instances as well. How to create it, that I will discuss later, right? By tomorrow I will discuss. And then failover mechanism on your respective database, right? Failover mechanisms on your respective databases, that I will also discuss by tomorrow here. How to failover, how to create a failover here within your reader and writer, and how to perform the vertical scaling. That is also going to be discussed in the respective vertical scaling. That is also going to be discussed in the respective by tomorrow section, right? Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. You can share it. You can share it the MySQL commands. So this is one thing that I'm going to share in the group, and also Pramod is going to be help us with the he also have the seems he also have the respective MySQL nodes. So these things you guys need to complete it, guys. Right. So thank you for your time.
Shabuk, last week class notes you have not pasted actually. First week you pasted, apart from that you didn't paste it. Yeah, these notes.
Okay, let me share complete this with you. Yeah, I shared the complete notes actually. Thank you guys.